Welcome back to American Beef Ranch. Today we're out and we're doing some work on some irrigation equipment because water season starts in just a few days. What's up everybody? Welcome back to American Beef Ranch. Thanks for stopping in. Today I'm out in the Polaris General 1000. I got it hooked up to our little welding trailer and we've got some work on this irrigation equipment. So I didn't film and I apologize, but the other day I added this in boom. So from right there to there, it's allowing us to water a few more acres more efficiently. And it's gonna add about 4 acres to this field, which is awesome. And I got it all basically done. We're ready to go. I got to get a sprinkler there and a couple nozzles. But you can see these cables are hanging down. We got to get them cut off. So we're gonna knock that out real quick. And then we got to run to the pivot point. There's a hole up at the pivot point that I got to weld that's been there for I think ever since I welded the pivot point together. There's been this pinhole and it's just, it makes a mess and it causes problems. So we're gonna go ahead and get that welded up, and then this project's done. So I guess we'll get you guys set up so you can see and get started. I think it goes without saying, probably don't try this at home, but you know, somebody somewhere is always willing to do something stupid. My goodness, I tell you what, I do not like heights and I don't like ladders, and that ladder up there is on the very edge. Probably not the best idea, but we got it done. We're gonna get this just slightly packed up, nothing too serious because we're not going very far either way. We got to go in about 3 towers and we will turn our gas off. It's always a good thing to turn your bottles off anytime you're like there's gonna be downtime with, because even though you have the valve shut off, it still leaks down gas. So just turn the main valves off is always a good idea. And it's also a good idea to take your torch off too and keep it somewhere else. Having quick connects makes that pretty easy. So all right, we are loaded up. Shouldn't go nowhere. We're gonna go pretty slow. I am gonna crawl up here and grab something. So if you've never been up a pivot before, on one side they have a ladder, kind of. So you can crawl up here, work on the electronics and things like that. Grab this chain off. And you'll see this is all a bunch of welded stuff. That's because these pivots were used when we bought them, or when my grandpa bought them, and sometimes you just have to make things work. And so like they were longer pivots, and so they didn't have the right ends for end plugs and things like that, so you just have to weld on what you have. And so that's why it looks the way that it looks. But this is up here now. We've got cables running down to a flange on that end. They run up to this support frame, and then they run down to the end, and then I put these support bars in. Most of the time with overhangs, these support bars they just use the cables. They don't use the support bars. So I guess I could have done the same thing, but, and then, you know, I just bolted them to the main frame with a nut on the outside there, because like it is supporting it, but at the same time a lot of the weight is on the cables. So I think either way we should be pretty good. And now the only thing I got left to do on this pivot is, I noticed the other day when I was up over here, I moved it, this U-joint, see that play, that one's bad, and there's another one here that's bad too. I just don't remember which one is it. Oh yeah, that one. So we're gonna replace that one and that one. I mean, they're probably, I don't know how old they are, but good time to replace them. So anywho's, let's get moved. All right, folks, so here we are. This right here, what we call a pivot point, okay? This is the point that the pivot around, so that's why we call it a pivot point. The water comes out of the ground. There's an underground main line right here that runs down to our pump station right over there. And underground water comes up here, comes to this valve. This is a mechanical valve, obviously, manual valve. Hopefully we'll be replacing that with an electronic valve, and we'll have GPS on this pivot, but that's another story for another day. Anyway, until that's ready, you see that hole right there? Right there? That's a problem, and we're gonna fix it. Now, I don't have my grinder with me, which kind of stinks, but we're gonna give it a shot and get it fixed. So, get you guys set up so you can watch. So first thing, we want to ground. I'm just gonna use the flange here as a good ground. Then I got my welding stinger, my lead, so I can get in here. Now, if this was a GPS panel pivot or a higher tech pivot, I would be worried about the electricity going through here. But this one's very low tech, and also it's disconnected from power down at the other end. And this pivot's usually seeing 3-phase 480, so the welding arc is not going to be too much on it, or it shouldn't be. It could cause problems. Okay, before I got started, I just wanted to take a minute and talk about welding safety. Guys, if you're welding or grinding or really doing a lot of things, woodworking, whatever, you should have a set of proper safety glasses. Now, these ones are probably not proper, but they're what I have right now. And even under a welding hood, I wear shaded glasses just because I find that it helps me with irritation from long-term welding or a lot of arc time, especially when it's really bright outside. It's not that bright right now. Looks like we got a storm moving in. But also, if you're welding on your farm or on your property and you want to continue welding, I would suggest, I did go to welding school, I do have a welding degree, I would suggest keeping it simple. So for like me, the welding helmet, I have a fixed shade welding helmet that's super simple, 2x4 lens. I'll put a link in the description, and I'll put a link in the description to some other products that I like for welding. But guys, just keep it simple. Simple welding jacket, simple gloves. I mean, you can get nice gloves if you want to, but I would almost always recommend a fixed shade lightweight hood like this Fiber Metal 110 PWE. And you can see this one's been painted up. I painted it up a long time ago with the Diesel Power logo, but you know, you can do anything you want with them. And I really like the simplicity and how lightweight it is. I've struggled for years with my neck and my back, and this lightweight helmet really helps. And you would be amazed the difference between this helmet and like a modern big view helmet, how much it'll weigh on your neck and your back over a day's worth of welding. So I'm gonna get the welder started. You're not gonna be able to hear me, but you're just gonna watch me do a little bit of work. Sorry guys, I don't know if you guys got to see that or not. I'll go ahead and show you the weld. Nothing fancy. I didn't even clean the slag off of it, but looks like we got the hole plugged, so that was the whole goal. So now we won't have kind of a little swamp here. Today we are welding with the Miller Bobcat 225. Not the greatest welder in the world, but gets the job done. Really good for service and maintenance and things like that. So now that I've got all that done, I've got plenty of other stuff to do today. I think we're gonna head back to the house. I was hoping we were gonna get some of this rain, but it doesn't look like the part that we're gonna get is very, very potent anyway. Most of the rain looks like it's farther to the south there, which is fine. I mean, I'd love some rain. Honestly, we could use some rain. But on to the next thing. Decided to do a little more burning, clean up around this pivot point. Got all of the tall grass out of the way, and then there was this pile of hay that I didn't get picked up in the baler last year. Go ahead and burn that. It's good to get rid of that because you don't want to pick that up in bales this year because it hurt the quality of the hay. So I'm just gonna let this finish burning. You know, it's almost done anyway. This part will burn in a minute and that'll be all burnt, and it's one more thing done. I do know there's a couple more patches I'd like to burn. Like, see, here's another one. This is big enough. Like, I'm not worried about the little ones like that guy, but where like this, where there's enough that it could cause a slug in the baler and make a big difference on your quality, might as well go ahead and burn it. And I know I got another patch for sure in the back of my head that I need to go get burnt, but that's what I'm doing. I guess on to the next thing. I wanted to mention while I'm out in this field, we call this number 2, ABR2, or you'll hear it referred to, his nickname is Triticale field. Like I said, we got some rocky outcroppings, and I think we're gonna rent a skid steer and get those knocked out, so we'll be able to, for sure, hopefully plant these strips right here, and then the strip over along the road there. I don't know if we'll have enough time to get that cleaned up and that section planted, that hole, but maybe, hopefully, that'd be great. But this field's gonna be a good experiment for some biological stuff, because I got my soil samples back, and you know, for what we've been doing, like, my other fields look pretty good. This field is terrible. The organic matter in this field is 0.8%, which is awful. That's really bad organic matter. Actually, that is the worst soil test I've ever seen. My other soil tests on my place are all better than most of the soil tests I see in the fertilizer stuff, but this one is definitely worse. That's the worst organic matter I've seen. That's really sad. This field was partially irrigated in the past, but it's also was mostly just desert ground. Pulled it out, put it into production. It's been fertilized with organic regenerative fertilizer one time, and that did make a help. That helped on the yield, but we didn't do anything over winter to help build the soil or do anything like that. We did keep live roots in the ground. We didn't graze it. Probably should have grazed it. I probably think that would have helped some. And then, you know, just so I think we're going to put some foliar applications in this season, biologicals on through the pivot system. We are going to fertilize again. I think we're going to double applicate this pretty heavily, a pretty heavy rate. You know, if you were to buy it, it would probably be a $350 an acre thing. So that is expensive, I will admit. But, you know, this field's only little. It's going to be 24-ish acres. So we're able to kind of throw the sink at it, you know, and see what we can get done and what really works. So that'll be good to see. I'm gonna get this fire put out and head to the next thing. That's it for the day. We're gonna go inside, we're gonna get some dinner. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching this shorty, but a goodie. Anyways, we got fertilizer videos, we've got irrigation videos, we've got crop videos, we got a whole bunch of stuff coming, so you should come back. Please like, subscribe, comment, and check out the links in the description. We'll see you next time on American Beef Ranch.